You didn't find this video by accident. Something beyond the algorithm, beyond your logic, pulled you here. Maybe you've been feeling strange lately, time-bending emotions rising for no reason, reality feeling slightly out of sync. That's not coincidence. That's the quantum shift rewriting your life in real time. You think you're losing control, but what's really happening is your old reality dissolving. Your frequency is recalibrating. The universe is rearranging itself to match who you're becoming. Most people ignore this signal, they numb it, deny it, and stay trapped in the same loop. But not you. You're here because the shift has already begun, and once you hear what's coming next, there's no going back. Something inside you has been whispering for months, maybe years. A quiet hum beneath the noise of your daily life. You've felt it during sleepless nights, in the middle of conversations that no longer resonate, in the strange emptiness that follows moments that used to make you feel alive. You think it's burnout, boredom, maybe even confusion. But it's not. It's the quantum shift, the invisible pulse of your reality beginning to rewrite itself. You are not imagining it. You are tuning into a deeper rhythm that's always been there, waiting for your awareness to catch up. Every thought you've had, every emotion you've ignored, every pattern you've repeated, they've all been frequencies feeding a specific timeline. And now that frequency is losing coherence. It's why you feel unsettled. It's why the familiar no longer feels safe. The old field can no longer sustain who you are becoming. This isn't chaos, it's calibration. Reality is adjusting its signal to match your new vibration. You see, we've been taught to believe that change happens through willpower, through force, through action. But quantum transformation doesn't arrive with effort. It emerges through resonance. When your awareness reaches a new frequency, your life, the people, opportunities, and circumstances around you begin to reorganize automatically. It's not about trying harder. It's about attuning deeper. Think of it like music. When one instrument tunes to a higher pitch, the entire orchestra shifts. The dissonance you feel right now, the friction, the uncertainty isn't a sign of failure. It's the sound of your life retuning itself to a higher order. But here's the paradox. The mind fears this silence between stations. It wants clarity, control, certainty. Yet the quantum field thrives in uncertainty. That's where possibilities multiply. That's where new realities form. The more you cling to your old rhythm, the more painful the static becomes. But the moment you pause, breathe, and allow the unknown to move through you, the static turns into signal. The quantum field speaks in subtle ways. A conversation that mirrors your thoughts. A song that answers your question, a moment of déjà vu that feels like a message. These are not coincidences, they are calibrations. The universe is whispering, you're aligning. You can feel it in your chest, that gentle pull toward something you can't quite name but deeply recognize. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. The system of your reality is rewriting itself to match the next version of your consciousness. That's why certain people drift away, why your desires change, why your intuition suddenly gets louder. It's not loss, it's synchronization. And this shift doesn't ask for effort, only awareness. Awareness is the currency of the quantum field. The more present you become, the faster coherence emerges. So the question isn't, when will my life change? It's how willing am I to notice that it already. This moment, the one you're in right now, is the threshold between timelines. On one side, the version of you that survives. On the other, the version that creates. Which one are you feeding with your attention? Before every breakthrough, there is disorder. Before any system evolves, it first collapses into chaos. Science calls this the principle of entropy, the necessary disorganization that precedes a new pattern. Neuroscience proves it too. Just before your brain forms a new neural pathway, it enters a state of turbulence. More electrical noise, more random firing, more unpredictability. The system destabilizes because it's preparing to reorganize at a higher level. What you call confusion is not regression, it's creation. The same law governs the universe. Galaxies form from collapsing stars, storms generate new climates. Nature's intelligence always allows breakdown before rebirth, and right now that same law is working through you. You feel the uncertainty because your inner architecture, your beliefs, emotions, identities is being dismantled. The mind panics because it cannot measure what's forming next. But consciousness is not lost. It's expanding beyond its old coordinates. The quantum field operates through instability. When energy becomes fluid, possibilities multiply. The moment you let go of needing answers, your field opens to infinite outcomes. This is the paradox of the shift. The more you try to stabilize it, the longer chaos persists. The more you surrender to uncertainty, the faster coherence forms. Think of a snow globe. When you shake it, everything inside swirls in beautiful disarray. That swirl isn't destruction, it's reconfiguration. Soon a new pattern settles, one you could never predict while it was still frozen. Your life works the same way. The shaking you feel in your job, relationships, identity is the universe in motion, redistributing energy to align with your new potential. The field must move through noise before it can hum in harmony. So when things stop making sense, when plans collapse and emotions surge, it's not a punishment. It's physics. It's the universe doing what it has always done, breaking what no longer fits the next version of your frequency. If you can hold presence through this phase, something profound happens. Awareness itself becomes the stabilizing force. Not control, not logic awareness. When you stop fighting chaos and start observing it, you introduce coherence into the field. Observation isn't passive, it's participation. In quantum physics, the observer doesn't just see reality, they shape it. The moment you witness your inner storm without judgment, your energy reorganizes around clarity. The storm calms not because it ended, but because you stopped resisting the wind. Your stillness becomes the axis around which a new order forms. This is how consciousness evolves, not through escape from chaos, but through intimacy with it. When you meet uncertainty with awareness, you transform disorder into design. Every wave of emotion becomes a carrier of information. Every shattered belief becomes raw material for a truer structure. What once felt like collapse begins to feel like revelation. And the beauty is, this isn't mystical, it's measurable. Heart coherence studies show that when you breathe slowly and stay present, your electromagnetic field synchronizes with your brain waves. Clarity emerges, calm arises. Your biology mirrors your awareness. You become a living example of quantum order. The next time your life feels like it's falling apart, remember it's falling into alignment. The system is not failing, it's evolving. So breathe. Feel the space between what was and what's becoming. Because that space, that trembling gap, is the exact point where reality rewrites itself. And as this wave of change moves through you, one question remains: what would happen if just for today you stopped labeling your chaos as pain and started seeing it as proof that you're awakening? Reality speaks, but not in words. It speaks in symbols, patterns, repetitions. A song that appears at the exact moment you need its message. A stranger's phrase echoing the thought you just had. A number repeating on every clock, every receipt, every sign. These are not random events. They are quantum correspondences, ripples of your own consciousness reflecting back through the mirror of matter. When the inner world and outer world start to resonate, synchronicities appear as proof of coherence. The universe does not shout, it whispers in perfect timing. Most people dismiss these signals as coincidence because the mind demands logic. But logic lives in linear time, and synchronicity comes from the timeless field. It's not cause and effect. It's resonance and reflection. When your awareness shifts to a higher vibration, your environment reorganizes to match it. What you notice changes because the observer has changed. You are not seeing more signs. You are vibrating at the frequency where those signs exist. Imagine tuning a radio. When you move to a new frequency, a new song appears, but it was always there waiting for you to align. The same applies to consciousness. The song of your new reality is already playing. Your awareness is just learning to hear it. Think of a moment when you felt guided, when events aligned too perfectly to be accidental. Maybe you thought of a friend and they called within seconds. Maybe an opportunity appeared just as you declared a new intention. That wasn't magic. It was coherence. The field around you responded to the vibration you broadcast. The more coherent your energy, the faster reality mirrors it. But synchronicities aren't just confirmation. They are tests. Each one asks, will you trust this alignment or dismiss it as luck? Every time you acknowledge a sign, you strengthen the bridge between mind and field. Every time you doubt it, the connection weakens. This is why awareness is the most powerful practice. When you recognize the pattern recognizes you. The universe rearranges itself around attention. Energy flows where observation goes. Science calls it the observer effect. Mystics call it creation. Different language, same principle. The moment you become conscious of consciousness, reality bends to reflect it. So what do you do when the signs multiply? Don't chase them. Don't decode them like puzzles. Feel them. Let them remind you that the same intelligence orchestrating galaxies is orchestrating your life. Every coincidence is a conversation between you and the field. Each alignment is an echo of your readiness. You are not separate from what you seek. You are the field observing itself through human form. The mind will want proof, but the proof is the experience itself. You feel it in your chest, that soft hum when everything clicks for no reason. That's your frequency meeting itself in form. And once you learn this language, you'll never feel lost again, because you realize reality is alive, responsive, intimate. The more you trust its rhythm, the clearer it becomes. Synchronicity is the universe's handwriting on the surface of time, spelling one quiet message: you're in sync. You're on path. Keep walking. Because the deeper truth is, this synchronicity doesn't start outside of you. It starts within. And once you see that, one question naturally arises: if life is constantly mirroring your vibration, what is it showing you about the energy you're sending right now? You can't carry your old identity into a new timeline. Every transformation requires a death, not of the body, but of the illusion of who you thought you were. The collapse feels terrifying because it's unfamiliar. You're used to being defined by your past, your roles, your stories, your fears. But now the structures that once made you feel safe begin to dissolve. The friendships that anchored you lose their grip. The goals that once fueled you feel hollow. The things that used to matter suddenly don't. That's not failure, it's decomposition. The universe is composting the version of you that cannot survive in the new frequency. Think of a seed. It doesn't grow by adding more layers of shell. It breaks open, surrendering its form so the life within can emerge. You are that seed right now, cracking, splitting, trembling in the dark soil of uncertainty. Everything in you wants to hold the shell together, but the greater intelligence within is saying, "Let go. I'm becoming." The ego calls this death. Consciousness calls it evolution. The pain you feel isn't punishment, it's pressure. Pressure from the light trying to expand through a structure too small to contain it. So if you feel like everything is falling apart, understand. That's the sound of your old frequency shattering. It must, because no transformation happens while the old pattern still dominates the field. The quantum collapse is not metaphorical. It's literal energy reorganization. Every belief that once held your identity vibrates at a specific frequency. As your awareness rises, those beliefs lose resonance. The field can't sustain them, so they disintegrate. That's why relationships fade, why emotions erupt, why your plans no longer work. You're not cursed, you're recalibrating. The collapse is not chaos, it's purification. When particles shift from wave to form, something collapses: a choice, a focus, a moment of awareness. You are doing the same with your consciousness. Every time you release what's familiar, you collapse infinite potential into a new reality. But here's the part most people miss: you're not losing anything real. You're only releasing what was built from fear, control, and false identity. What remains after the fall is truth. Raw, radiant, indestructible. The self that emerges after collapse is lighter, freer, and infinitely more coherent. This is why the dark night feels sacred to those who awaken. They realize it's not the end, it's initiation. You are not here to repair your old story, you're here to transcend it. So when your mind screams to rebuild what's breaking, pause. Don't fix the ruins. Bless them. They're evidence that your consciousness has outgrown its old walls. Feel the grief. Let it move through your body like rain cleansing the soil. Cry if you must, but know every tear carries information, the vibration of release. You are making space for the unknown to breathe you anew. And as the dust settles, you'll notice something quietly extraordinary. Even as everything falls apart, a deeper peace remains untouched. That peace is your true self, the awareness watching it all dissolve. It never dies. It never breaks. It only witnesses patiently as life rearranges itself around truth. This is the moment to surrender to the mystery. Stop asking how long this phase will last. Instead, ask, who am I when everything I thought I was no longer exists? You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. This is the law of resonance. The universe doesn't listen to your words, it listens to your vibration. Most people live in fragments. One part of them wants expansion, another clings to fear. A third hides behind old pain, and that fragmentation creates interference like static between radio stations. You broadcast mixed signals into the quantum field, and reality echoes that confusion back as uncertainty, delay, or chaos. That's why affirmations sometimes fail. Why vision boards fade, why effort doesn't always manifest. Because you can't override a fragmented field with surface positivity. The field responds to coherence when thought, emotion, and belief hum at the same frequency. Coherence doesn't mean perfection. It means alignment. It means your inner world moves in one direction. Imagine your consciousness as a choir. When each voice sings its own tune, the sound is noise. But when they align in harmony, the resonance fills every space with power. That's coherence, the state where everything inside you says yes to the same truth. This is the next stage after the collapse: integration. Your old structures are gone, and now you begin to rebuild. Not from fear, but from frequency. It starts subtly. The breath deepens, the heart slows, thoughts quiet. You begin to sense a rhythm behind everything, the pulse of the field itself. When you relax into that rhythm, life starts responding differently. Opportunities arise not because you chase them, but because you finally match them. Conversations unfold that feel divinely timed. Ideas drop into your awareness fully formed. You stop forcing reality and start flowing with it. This is coherence, the alignment between the human self and the quantum intelligence expressing through it. Science shows that when your brain and heart synchronize, your electromagnetic field expands and becomes more ordered. You literally broadcast stability into your environment. People feel it. Circumstances shift around it. Your presence becomes a stabilizing force. That's the quiet power of coherence. It doesn't demand, it magnetizes. But coherence requires honesty. You can't align with truth while denying what you feel. Coherence isn't pretending to be high vibe. It's allowing every emotion to harmonize into awareness. Fear becomes focus. Sadness becomes compassion. Anger becomes clarity. When nothing is suppressed, energy flows freely. You stop being a battlefield and become an instrument. The more transparent you are with yourself, the purer your frequency becomes. And as the noise fades, your reality rearranges effortlessly. People who no longer resonate drift away without conflict. Paths that felt blocked suddenly open. Health improves. Creativity returns. You don't chase alignment, you become alignment. And here's the secret you can feel when you're coherent. It's not excitement or euphoria, it's peace. A deep, stable stillness that hums behind every breath. That's your field in harmony with life itself. The question is never how do I manifest, it's what am I transmitting? Because the quantum field is always listening, always mirroring, always precise. When your broadcast becomes pure, your world becomes clear. So take a breath and sense your energy now. The places it flows, the places it trembles. The parts that still whisper doubt, feel them not as flaws but as notes tuning themselves to harmony. You are learning to sing the frequency of truth. And as your coherence strengthens, one question begins to rise from deep within. If your vibration already shapes reality, what would your life look like if every thought, feeling, and breath were finally in tune? The mind demands control, but consciousness only asks for trust. This is where the quantum shift becomes real, not when you understand it, but when you surrender to it. The unknown is not your enemy, it is your next frequency. Yet the human mind clings to certainty like oxygen. It fears not knowing because it equates control with safety. But safety has never been the purpose of evolution. Growth begins the moment comfort ends. When you stop trying to manage the outcome and start allowing the intelligence of life to move through you, everything starts to rearrange. People call it luck, grace, destiny, but it's quantum coherence unfolding without interference. The field doesn't need your control, it needs your permission. Think of the times you forced something, a job, a relationship, a plan. You pushed, planned, calculated every move, yet the more you tried, the more resistance appeared. Then one day you gave up, not out of defeat, but exhaustion. You let go. And suddenly what was stuck began to move. That's not coincidence, that's physics. Resistance collapses the moment observation becomes surrender. When you stop demanding life to bend to your timing, the field synchronizes events in perfect order. Surrender is not weakness, it's alignment with intelligence greater than thought. Imagine standing in a river. The harder you fight the current, the more you exhaust yourself. But when you relax, the river carries you exactly where you need to go. The universe flows the same way. The current is consciousness itself, and the more you trust it, the smoother the journey becomes. Trust doesn't mean passive waiting. It means active allowing. It's a frequency, a vibration of openness that tells the field I'm ready for what's next, even if I can't see it yet. When you reach that frequency, reality begins to self-organize around you. This is what quantum scientists call decoherence, when old patterns dissolve and new ones emerge without your intervention. The same principle applies to your life. The old version of you has already lost stability. You are in the gap where new order forms, and your only job is to stay open. Every time your mind screams, "What if this doesn't work?" answer with stillness. Every time fear says you're losing everything, breathe and remember I'm being realigned. This is how you become a conscious collaborator with the field. Not through control, but through communion. The universe isn't trying to test you, it's trying to trust you. It needs your cooperation to co-create something beyond your imagination. The paradox is that once you stop needing to know how life reveals how effortlessly. Once you stop chasing outcomes, the right ones find you. This is the mechanics of faith, not blind belief, but embodied trust. When you trust, your nervous system relaxes. Your electromagnetic field expands. Your perception widens. You start noticing possibilities that were always there, invisible behind the fog of control. And in that clarity, manifestation feels effortless, because you're no longer manifesting, you're receiving. The quantum field cannot deliver what your tension resists. It can only mirror your openness. So breathe deeper. Let your shoulders drop. Feel your heartbeat as the pulse of the universe itself. Trust this rhythm. It has carried stars into galaxies and oceans into tides. It can carry you through this moment too. You don't need to know the path. You only need to stay in frequency with faith. Because faith is the bridge between your human uncertainty and the quantum intelligence that knows exactly where you're meant to go. So ask yourself now, with honesty and softness, if you truly trusted the intelligence behind your life. What would you stop trying to control today? Your future isn't coming, it's unfolding right now in every breath, in every heartbeat that still believes something greater is guiding you. The shift you've been sensing is no longer a concept. It's alive in you. You can feel the air around you changing texture as if time itself is breathing differently. That's the frequency of a new reality forming through your awareness. The universe doesn't wait for you to be ready. It becomes ready through you. You are not walking toward transformation, you are radiating it. Every thought, every choice, every small act of presence sends ripples across the field and reality rearranges in response. This is how new worlds are born, not with explosions, but with coherence. The quantum field listens to vibration, not effort. And when your inner tone steadies into trust, the outer world begins to harmonize. Notice how synchronicities have become faster, how intuition speaks louder, how old fears dissolve without a fight. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations that the field is listening. You no longer need to chase signs. You are the sign. You are the signal that life has been waiting for. The proof of your alignment is not in how much you achieve, but in the peace that now holds you even when nothing seems certain. This is quantum living, acting from presence instead of pressure, creating from wholeness instead of lack. The mind will ask, is it done yet? But awareness already knows it's happening now. Look at how reality mirrors your frequency, people arriving, who match your truth, opportunities unfolding without struggle. Even the challenges appearing as mirrors for growth rather than punishment. This is what it means to live as a conscious participant in creation. You are no longer reacting to life, you are composing it. The difference is subtle but absolute. Reacting keeps you bound to probability. Composing opens you to possibility. In this state, manifestation stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like breathing. Every intention is an exhale, every synchronicity an inhale. Life becomes circular, rhythmic, whole. There is no more waiting, there is only choosing, and choice at its deepest level is attention. What you pay attention to now becomes tomorrow's form. So guard your focus like sacred fire. Feed it with gratitude, not fear, with curiosity, not control. Gratitude is not a ritual. It's a resonance that tells the field, I recognize myself in all of this. When you live from that awareness, creation feels inevitable. The future unfolds as an extension of your current coherence. That's why this moment matters more than any plan. This breath, this heartbeat, this awareness, this is the axis of your universe. Everything else orbits around it. You don't have to prove your worthiness to receive. You already are the evidence. You don't have to earn alignment. You are alignment remembering itself. The quantum shift isn't coming to rescue you. It's emerging through you because you finally stopped resisting who you've always been. So as we close this journey, pause and feel the stillness underneath every word. That silence, that steady pulse is reality itself breathing you into being. It's not somewhere else. It's here now, whispering the same truth in every language, in every cell. You are home. The new reality isn't a destination. It's the vibration you're stabilizing in this moment. Let that truth settle in your body. Let it move through you like light through water. You are the proof that consciousness can rewrite matter. You are the living transmission of this shift. So take one final breath and choose coherence. Comment below, not as performance, but as declaration. I choose coherence. I allow my quantum shift to complete. Your words become waves in this shared field. Together we strengthen the signal. Together we remember. Welcome to the quantum field of your becoming. Your new life has already begun.